Joining me now is David Fish, a civil and criminal attorney with Romano Law. Thank you so much for being here. All right, TikTok, we know is a business. It is not an altruistic venture. It is a business designed to make money. Why is TikTok's responsibility to protect the mental health of any of its users?
I mean, we've seen litigations, I think, analogous to this before, right? When states came together and filed lawsuits against big tobacco, for example. Companies are in the business of making money, but there are certain limitations that also can be placed on them. Here, what the lawsuits are alleging, among a lot of things, are that this dopamine-inducing algorithm is intended to hold attention. So now you have children, right? The app is supposed to be for 13 and over, but statistics tell us that there are about 49 million children using this app that are under the age of 14, and they are doing it at the deprivation of sleep, schoolwork, interacting with other people, and it's causing serious mental health issues in children. Statistically, we've seen suicide and depression increase, and it's been connected to excessive use of these social media apps, including TikTok.
You know, you talk about these age requirements, right? It's intended, TikTok says it's intended for kids who are 13 and above. How does that play into this? Because clearly there are ways to get around it, right? They're not going to your house and knocking on your door and making sure that you're 13. But there is an age requirement. So how does that factor into this lawsuit?
The age requirement is very easy to get around. I think the user essentially in signing up puts their birthday on the app, right? No one's regulating that. And unfortunately, a lot of parents aren't regulating as much as they should what their kids are doing, and then are later shocked maybe to find out that their children are suffering from depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia. You know, these apps, including TikTok, have these filters that allow kids and adults to create these unrealistic visions of themselves. And then they're always chasing and trying to achieve that. And that's just one of the many things that these lawsuits are alleging are really that TikTok is profiting off of children's mental health.
Sure, but where does parental responsibility come into this equation? Because that has to be a huge part of this. TikTok saying it's not me, you regulate your kids.
Yeah, I mean, listen, personally, I think it's very important. I think parents overall need to do a lot better job in being in tune with what their kids are doing. But I also understand that for working parents, it's very challenging, right? You can't be helicoptering over your kids all the time. And that's why 13 states and Washington, D.C., and I think others are going to follow, and to say parents need help. Parents need help taking care of their kids when you have these giant mega companies making tremendous amount of money based on the amount of time that people are using the app. And the lawsuit is alleging that this is intentional, that these algorithms are intentionally built to keep the attention for as long as possible.
I mean, I got to tell you, I don't get on TikTok often, and it is specifically because when I do, my entire night is lost. I don't even know what happens. It's like we call it the TikTok wormhole, right? You go on this app, and it's not just TikTok. There are similar lawsuits against Instagram, against Meta, the parent company of Instagram. There are filters, there's technology, and it is ever evolving. But I want to ask you about the election, because we know that both the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign, both on TikTok. They're on TikTok trying to reach voters, and the demographic on TikTok is younger voters. How does that play into this and the fact that it's now a lawsuit?
Well, listen, campaigns are trying to take advantage of this and gaining the attention of potential voters. And as you said, particularly, I think your 18 to 25-year-old voters, they're taking advantage of it. The interesting thing, though, when you bring up the election, how both campaigns are using TikTok, is the lawsuits here, the attorney generals that are behind these lawsuits. It's pretty bipartisan, right? You have both Republican and Democratic supported leaders of states bringing these suits. So is it hypocritical? Probably is, and we're all but it's an interesting point that you raise. And like you also, I will get on social media and then I'll find myself spending too much time on it. But we're over the age of 25. Our frontal lobes are developed. You're having developing young people exposed to this constantly. And there's a belief also, and I'm not a scientist, but there's a lot of research. There's concern that it's going to have long-term permanent impact on this excessive screen time.
Right, and that is the scary thing. How could the decision that's made with this case impact other social media platforms that exist now, but also ones that are being cooked up in someone's garage? Because that's how they start, right? The next big thing is going to pop. So how could it affect social media platforms in the future?
Well, earlier I referenced the cases years ago against big tobacco, and the result of those cases were very big settlements. So there was a monetary impact. These companies took a hit. They also had to fund advertising campaigns, warning of the dangers of tobacco. And something similar to that could come out of this. And that legislation won't just impact TikTok, it will impact any and all social media platforms that are similar.
Yeah, it's a super important discussion to have. Parents should be having it with their kids, that's for sure. But again, we'll just have to wait and see, because there are adults who are addicted to TikTok and other social media platforms as well. It is a complex issue. Civil and criminal attorney David Fish, thanks so much for joining me.
You're very welcome.
Coming up next.